Hello everyone, welcome to my video presentation. So let me introduce myself. I am Sahana Kokotnoor from class 9B studying in Aksharda Public School, here to do English video presentation guided by Mahendra sir. Chapter name The Sound of Music by Deborah Cowley. In this context, we are mainly discussing about a great personality who is Evelyn Glennie. By the end, you will be able to get an inspiration from the real life experiences of a differently abled person. You will be able to summarize the events and characters portrayed in the story. You will be able to analyze the information about the personalities in the lesson. So let us start discussing about Evelyn Glennie. Evelyn Glennie listens to sound without hearing it. Moving on, let me tell you glossary. Jostle, push roughly. Slight, small and thin. Daunting, frightening. Aspiring musician, a person who wants to be a musician. Percussionist, a person who always plays the drum, the tabla, etc. Potential, quality or ability that can be developed. Auditioned, gave a short performance that the director could decide whether she was good enough. Tingles, causes a stinging sensation. Lilt, a way of speaking. Here in this image you can see an image resembling Evelyn Glennie. Some important events in this context are: first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London. Let me explain you this. Rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl looking younger than her 17 years was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. But this aspiring musician faced a bigger challenge than most. She was profoundly deaf. Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. So let me tell you, how did they come to know that Evelyn was deaf? Evelyn Glennie's loss of hearing had been gradual. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. They called her name and she didn't move. I suddenly realized she hadn't heard, says Isabel Glennie. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal her growing deafness from friends and teachers, but by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated, and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. It was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired as a result of gradual nerve damage. They were advised that she should be fitted with.
Greetings one and all. I am Hemant VS from grade 9 Aksharda Public School. So the subject here is English and the topic I have chosen is the poem Wind. Learning objectives of this presentation is to analyze the poem and write about it and to understand the message that the poet is trying to convey us all. So let's start. Wind by Subramanya Bharati. The poem Wind is written by Subramanya Bharati and translated from Tamil by A.K. Ramanujan. The wind is an important character in the poem and even the poet. Setting of this poem can be in the poet's room during the storm. The poet is talking to the wind here. He asks the wind to come softly. He says wind is very powerful and destructive as it breaks the shutters of the windows, scatters the papers, throws down the books on the shelf. So here the poet is describing the power of wind. Then he says to the wind to look at the destruction it had done. Whenever there is a strong wind, all the things that are weak, they all get scared and even fall and get hurt. The word crumbling is repeated so many times in the poem to lay stress that everything crumbles in the face of strong wind. This means all the weaklings like weak doors, houses, peoples, plants, animals, anything falls and breaks down. What poet is actually trying to convey here is that whenever a weak person faces challenges or obstacles in his life, he breaks down and falls. Even the solution is given in the poem. The poet wants us to make friends with the wind, that is, difficulties or challenges in the lives. He says that problems won't listen to us. They will come, so we should be prepared, building homes to join the doors firmly, keep the heart steadfast, stay strong in all the aspects, which is physically, mentally, psychologically, etc. These are some of the things for the preparation. And then, once we are strong enough, all the challenges will be like friends. At last, the poet gives us an important message that feeling bad about facing the difficulties doesn't give any solution. So, we should stay strong to face all the challenges in the life. Let us look into the important events in the poem. The poet initially is angry on the wind and says it to look at the damage it has caused. The poet describes about the wind that it is very powerful and destructive. Any weakling on its way gets crushed. The word crumbling is repeatedly used in the poem to throw light on a point that everything crumbles in the face of strong wind. The poet then stays calm and wants us to make friends with the wind, that is, difficulties and challenges in our lives. The poet encourages us to stay strong physically, mentally, and psychologically so as to face the difficulties or challenges in our lives, or we can call it as obstacles or adversities. At last, he compares wind with God, that his friendship is good, and we praise him every day. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Pradnya.
And I'm Wasfiya from grade 9.
We all are facing the pandemic COVID-19. Everything is changed. Our routines, our way of learning, everything.
Yes, we follow so many safety measures. We learn from home by online classes. We all face a bit difficulty to adjust, but now we all are adjusted.
Can you imagine? We face difficulty to just listen the class from home. But what if we had robot teachers and virtual classes?
As the above discussion, today we are here to speak on Isaac Asimov's story, The Fun They Had.
The characters in the story are Maggie, Tommy, the county inspector, and Robot.
The story begins with two children named Maggie and Tommy. It takes place in the world of future where computers dominate everything. Moreover, it also shows how the concept of schools and classrooms has transformed completely.
It's the year 2157, and Maggie is writing in her diary about how Tommy found a book in his attic. This book was Tommy's grandfather's when he was a little kid. Maggie learns about how they used to print all the stories on paper back then.
Further, they read the book themselves and find the feeling of turning pages over rather funny. It was funny because they were not in the habit of reading still words, only once in the motion, that too on a screen. We learn that in the future there are no books, only telebooks. They store them in TV sets and computers.
After that, it takes an interesting turn when they discuss school. Maggie always hated school, but now she hated it even more because the mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent her to the county inspector. County inspector repaired her robot in very few seconds. He said that it was just a bit geared up, but now it's all okay. Maggie learns that schools were very different back then. They had actual persons who were teachers. It is surprising because she has only robot teachers which teach her.
Maggie and Tommy study in a virtual classroom. They have robots as teachers. Most importantly, her school is next to her bedroom only. It is a room full of electronics, robots, and gadgets. The computer software teaches her everything.
When Maggie attends her school after learning about the earlier one, she starts wondering she starts wondering. When she starts studying, she cannot help but only think about the earlier days.
Maggie wonders about the fun her grandparents would indulge in. She imagines kids from different neighborhoods coming together merrily to attend school.
Moreover, the fact that they were taught the same thing amused her. It was because everyone would help each other with the homework. Thus, in the end, she is left wondering about the fun they had. So, in short, this chapter throws light on emerging technology and how it is overtaking the world. Thus, in the near future, it would not be surprising if teachers were replaced by robots. Thank you.